Hello.
Yo, yo.
What's going on?
Fuma's on mute.
Yeah, y'all doing out there? Former, you on mute, bro?
I've been running my mouth.
I
Okay,
know.
welcome to Crypto Therapy 589. We got Nina Blossom, Marvin Davis, and Nerdy X.
Nerdy.
Welcome to the show, Nerdy.
What's
Nerdy,
up with
welcome.
it? What up,
What's up,
nerd?
everyone? How y'all doing?
Chilling, man.
Thank you for joining us, man.
Oh, wait. I have to do it. Get your bags up, everybody.
Hey,
Let's
hey.
go. Let's
I
go.
would reach mine, but yeah, I made that. I got a few of them now.
Shout out to the bag man. I love my baggie.
Hell yeah.
Shout out the bag.
Oh,
We got these
shit.
bags here.
Can shit up.
So tonight we're gonna get into what Nerdy, who he is, how he got here. We're gonna ask all the pertinent questions. We'll probably play some Bagman music on the side. You know how we do it. And then we go from there, and then we just rock it and then just go. I'm gonna open up the floor. I'm not gonna start this one off. Marvin.
Let me say something real quick then.
Go ahead.
And what I want to say is, we were backstage 2 minutes ago, and our sister Nina Blossom said something that it resonated with me and probably Nerdy and Fuma too, and probably the rest of y'all too. And what she said was, we did a show last night with Romeo, and she was trying to get us to end the show. She said, "I forgot that we don't have to be so serious all the time." And these are my words, not hers. But she said, "I forgot we're supposed to be having fun." So I want everybody to remember that, I come to this space, YouTube specifically, to have fun, because if you think about it, the majority of us have enough stress and bullshit going on in our lives to where when we come here, we should just be having fun with the people that think like we think. There's enough people against us already, so we shouldn't be arguing and fighting about nothing, y'all, if we can help it. You know what I mean? So that's all I want to say, y'all.
Yeah,
Welcome to the show, nerd.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome,
Nerdy.
Nerdy.
Facts. Big
It's all
facts.
about you tonight, boy.
Let's go.
That's what's up. So we
Let's
want
rock
to
out.
know. We want to know, what were you doing before you got into crypto, man?
Good question.
Oh, man. Before I got into crypto, I was doing network administration. So, and before in the network administration, I was doing a bunch of like trade jobs and factory work and all that. I was big into network administration. I was really big into network security. Network security was one of my main things. But going into computers as a whole, I actually started. So my dad was into computers. So my dad's a really big techie, and massive nerd. So I actually built my first computer when I was 7, and yeah, I installed Windows 95 on it. And I built the computer, put the motherboard in, power supply, whatever, RAM and all that stuff, connected everything. I mean, back in those days, it was different because the hard drive had a prong on it where you had to switch, and then you had different cables. So you had master and slave cables that you have that I was called like fuzzy cables. Yeah. So you had all these old school cables. Like, it was different. It was really different back then. And then you had like a whole bunch of serial inputs for the monitors and everything. Like, different world. All the mouse and everything. Yeah.
You forgot about them jumpers on the motherboard.
Yeah, the jumpers on the motherboard. and then, and all that other stuff. Like, that's where I started. I started with floppies. I started like my first game was I used to play Duke Nukem for sure. But there was one game I really liked. They don't play no more, but it was Jazz Jackrabbit. Jazz Jackrabbit was this Christmas game. Was this bunny with his carrots in this Christmas game? It was so fun. But when I was playing that game, I was like, dang, this game is fun. Like, I like the storyboard type game. There was another game called dang, I can't remember, but it was basically like this yellow guy. It was this little guy with the red shirt and blue pants, and he had a yellow helmet and he had a little gun. And he would go around.
Jungle Hunt?
No. It was like some space game, but that game was hella fun. And then before that, when I was going to school, we played Oregon Trail. So it was like old school paper.
Oh, I used to play that.
Old school paper drive. So I've been around computers for a very long time, and being around computers, I've always wondered like, how does this work? How can I program? And being in the beginning of when the internet started with dial-up and all that stuff, you know, with Messenger. I mean, I was huge with MySpace and editing with MySpace and changing, adding other music players and all that. But when I was trying to go into school, talking to the counselors didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. Like they couldn't like I didn't even know what the hell I wanted to do. All I said was I want to program, and they're like, I didn't know that it was software engineering or it was like a you know, computer science majoring in and all that stuff. But and I didn't have the guidance, so I was like, I want to go into computers, and they're like, okay, networker. So I just started going into the very first thing I actually went after high school.
Let me ask you a couple questions because you skipped over some big stuff that you don't know you skipped over.
Okay, go.
Nerdy, where are you from, man? Where are you from?
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I was born in Calgary, and then we moved from Calgary, in Canada, and then we moved from Calgary to East Palo Alto, and then I was in East Palo Alto from basically.
You know what that is? I know what that is. If you ain't from the
West,
you don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's like, and that's like we moved to EPA in '94, so that's like
California, everybody.
So in '94, if you lived in the
Northern
Bay,
Cali,
the hyphy movement, the whole Gas Nation movement, the whole Thiz Nation, and all that stuff was just taking off. So I grew up in that like prime time hyphy movement, grew up in all that stuff, which is amazing, right? Which is pretty cool. So
Sneak. That's Keek the Sneak. That's
Keek and you know,
Mac
Filthy
Dre.
Rich and all
Mac
them.
Dre.
Mac Dre and all them. Yeah. But there's a story behind that. It goes even crazier. Okay, so
Ghost Ride the Wind. No, I'm playing.
So then from Canada we moved to Modesto, and then I went to grade school all through Modesto. So elementary, middle, high, and then a little bit of college. I was all in Modesto, and that's like farm town basically. It's like, it's kind of ghetto. It's not really ghetto. It's basically everyone kind of does their own thing. It's really flat. It's like farm town. There's a lot of farms around, and it's like, it's really, really low key. And I grew up there, and it was wild. It was very wild. It was really nice growing up. It was really calm. I walked to school from like fourth grade. So from fourth grade on all the way to high school, I walked to school because when you lived in Modesto back in those days, it was like, there was really nothing to fear, right? It was kind of like, hey, you're a kid, but school's over there a mile away. Just walk. Right? So that's like the world I grew up in, where it's like the world that we grew up in today is like all the parents are very like, oh, my child is gold star this, gold star that. But the world that I grew up in my childhood, was basically like, go fend for yourself, figure it out.
Be kids, man. They let us be kids.
Yeah,
that's how it was when I lived in Bonita as a kid, man. When I lived in Bonita, little San Diego, man, we was just out all day.
Yeah.
All day. Like, sun come up, you outside.
You're outside.
Go down.
Sun go down.
Yeah.
And
it was cool though, because you would kick it with your friends like all night, like all night, like exactly what Fuma's saying, like all night. But the relationship that you develop being outside and communicating with people and being around in that environment, it does something to your mind where you mature faster, and you kind of just like, you're comfortable in your environment, you're comfortable in your city, you're comfortable with everything else. You understand how things work, you understand how society works, you know, from growing up. You know how to stay in your lane, who to mess with, who not to mess with, what's a bad vibe, what's a good vibe. Like, you know people, like you learn a lot of things, right?
Let me ask you a question. In high school, what was your favorite thing to do in high school, man? Like, Nerdy, man. I'm gonna tell everybody this. For as much as me and Nerdy be in a room bullshitting, I don't know these answers. I don't know these answers.
In high school,
what did you like to do, man?
So growing up, I've been a social butterfly, but when it comes to my own time, I've been alone. So I spend a lot of my time like in solitude. So my personal life, literally no one knows this. So my personal life is in my household. Basically, I don't want to say there was favoritism, but I want to say there was favoritism. But basically, I was kind of like left to fend for myself. Wow.
Black sheep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was the younger one, and I have an older sibling. But it's kind of like, you're the boy. You kind of figure it out. And I think it came to the point where
You got an older sister?
I do, but
6 years older than you?
4 years older than me.
Mine is 6. I already know where you're going with this. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Seven.
Yeah, bro. I already know. Go ahead, man. Shit.
But
Well, I'm
probably
different.
why-
I'm the oldest. I'm
Yeah.
the oldest. I'm different.
All right, go ahead.
yeah, for me, my thing was basically, I think what happened is that I didn't want to conform. All my life, I knew that I was meant for more. I don't know how to explain it, but even as a child, you have this something, and you just have this feeling where you're just looking at yourself in the room. Like I just have this mini fan, and I used to try to make the fan rotate the other way around just by looking at it. I don't know if you guys ever did that, but I had that much time in my hands to do something like that. But
No, but I've stopped it and then let it spin again.
you stopped it and you see
Then
it.
stop it. Yeah, let it spin again. Yeah.
I painted my fins black and white, so I can try. So it was I can do more things with it. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, but I spent a lot of time in isolation, and I kind of knew that I didn't want to follow like the trade, because I kind of knew where, like, when I was messing with AOL Instant Messenger, and I was messing with MySpace and all this stuff, like, you kind of know this, like, this is the future. And how do you explain that to a bunch of people who are just don't know nothing about computers? And it was really hard for me to explain this to everyone else. Like, hey, you know what? I understand that you XYZ cousin wants to be a doctor, XYZ cousin wants to be a lawyer, XYZ cousin wants to do this and this and that. Good for them. But I bet you at the end of the day, I will most likely providing their company a service, and they probably won't even know it. And there like, people used to think like I was ignorant for saying that, but no one really, like, I was also like, I don't want to say a visionary, but I kind of sort of, but like, I always saw like where this was going. You know what I mean? So during
people don't
school,
respect that you can think outside the box, man.
yeah, and then like during school, like I grew up around racism my whole life, like my
Me
whole life. Like, whatever we're going through right now is nothing new to me, right?
You're the same shit.
But my question was, why? Why do people think like that? Why does someone have that kind of perspective when I'm no different from you? You dumbass, right? And I've always thought that in my mind, like this person that I'm dealing with has a low IQ because they have this simple reasoning in their mind that they believe is reality, right? So I'm just like, why? And then from there on out, I guess I grew up with a lot of anger inside, and I didn't like being angry because I knew that I wasn't an angry person, but I was just mad at the world, because it's like I would say something and no one would listen. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're just yelling at the world and you're trying to inform people about all this stuff, and everyone's like, nah, shut up. Like, what the hell do you know? And it's kind of like I grew up around that vibe all my whole life. So it's kind of like when you become a person, when you grow up in that, you can speak on top of a mountain, and if everyone ignores you, it comes to the point where you just shut up. You just don't say nothing.
You shut down.
Like,
shut down.
Why even put myself out there like that?
Yep, just shut down.
Yeah.
I'm like that.
School, and you said you had went to college, right?
Yeah. So back when I was going to school and stuff, because of this attitude and because of this perspective, I was kind of a rebel in school, like big time rebel, and I was involved. Like during that time, there was a lot of gangs and stuff, and a lot of like, there's like, again, the hyphy movement also. So there's like this rebellion type atmosphere that I grew around, right? And being around that atmosphere was kind of like, do whatever you want. So I kind of just did whatever I want. and I passed through high school. And the crazy part is about high school is that I got kicked out. So I grew up in a very like upper class proper neighborhood. Okay, so I wasn't growing up in the ghetto or anything like that, my parents they made a decent amount of income. So I grew up in a very nice neighborhood. It was really rich, where there was like double story houses around to the school I went to and all that stuff, right? Like the elementary school I went to was right next to a hospital. Like it was really nice. But just because it's really nice doesn't mean the people that are there attending that facility are really nice, right? Like just because you have a nice facility doesn't mean that your environment is also like that. So it was really like hostile, where like the environment that I was in, I wasn't supposed to be in. It was like only.
You got that Django effect, bro.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
on that nerd.
Yeah, it's like, hey, what is
man.
this Indian kid doing with a bunch of all these white people and all these Mexican cats? What is this? Why is this brown person hanging out with my kid?
Well, that's
right?
Cali, man. They never seen Indians.
Yeah,
before.
so it's like, but it was like
Native American Indians, but they never seen nobody from India.
Yeah,
or Pakistani or anything like that, man. Like I could tell you stories, but go ahead, man.
Bro. But mind you, I grew up during this time. Little did I know that 9/11 was gonna happen. So you just imagine my life after that fucking event happened. Everyone all of a sudden just trying to assume I'm just fucking this crazy person, but I was like, bro, I'm fucking American, you stupid fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? I'm one of you. But anyway, so there's this story one time that I was we have prayers where we use matches to light candles and stuff. So I went to the temple, and we're at the temple and we're lighting.
What temple is this?
It's an Indian temple. It's a Hindu temple in Modesto, right? So
hold on. So I'm gonna just stop you right there. Here's the reason why. I do not know that much about Indian religion. I think it's Hinduism. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it
so
Hindu
okay. So let me go even further back. Okay. So my dad is Sikh. Is Sikh, and my mom is Hindu. But what happened is with the hair. Yeah, with the turbans. So
yeah, man, you got the good hair.
Yeah, my dad is like the old school ones.
I like that, bro. That's dope, bro.
Yeah, like so my great grandfather.
Now we got some. Sorry, I'm gonna cut you one more time, bro. Offline, you got to answer a lot of questions for you, bro. Because I've been like wondering about how nobody talk about the questions I have.
So yeah, so my great grandfather. So we call it the Gurdwara, right? So my great grandfather used to go to one, but he was the old school Sikh where he used to carry a shotgun all the time. So he was strapped at all times. He had the whole nine. He had everything, right? And that's how my dad grew up. So my dad grew up. So that's what he's seen. His grandpa grew up, but my grandpa disappeared. Like he was nonchalant. Like he was literally not available in my life, like at all. Even till this day, I don't even know what the hell, where he's at, what he's doing, whatever. But because of that, my upbringing was towards my mother's side, because I didn't have any of my dad's side's guidance. So I grew up Hindu. So I grew up with this Hindu learning, but in my blood, who I am is I'm Sikh. So that's why my last name is Singh. So my name is Sean Singh. If you guys don't know, I go by Nerdy X. My name is Sean Singh.
Oh yeah, hold on.
There's a reason why my name is Singh. Yeah. So yeah, but on my dad's side of the family, they had land in Fiji, and there was like sugarcane farms during that time. So my lineage goes back where how we ended up in Fiji was the whole slave trade that was going on with with British and India, with East Indian Company and all that stuff. So my mom's side, they were on the poorer side, so they were transferred. So my mom's side, my great grandpa changed he had his name changed to an Islamic name at one point, and then he changed his name back to his Hindu name, and then he ended up from. My mom's side is from Bihar, which is like the poorer side of India, and then
because of the class system there in India, right?
Yeah, they had a class system, but that like older India, ancient India, that was like a school system. So yeah, they grew up on that region, and then on my dad's side, they grew up in like Punjab, so it was like the richer region, so the northern side. So they were like part of like the whole, like they were part of the East Indian Company, versus my mom's side was like part of like the other side of the situation.
Yeah, man. People don't know about the East Indian Company.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't really know about that, but that was my life. So that's how my mom ended up in that's how my mom and my dad ended up in Fiji. But my dad didn't want to stay in Fiji, and he left. So my grandpa took my dad, and they moved to Canada. So my my grandma married my grandpa who was living in Canada, and that's how he ended up in Canada. And then,
Bro.
my great grandpa lived in Fiji. They had a like a sweet shop in Fiji, and they were like store owners, and they had land and stuff like that. And then that's how my parents met. Is that my mom used to go to that sweet shop, and my dad would sit on the counter because it was my grandpa's shop. And then they used to see each other, and then eventually they had an arranged marriage. Little did they know, but that was the same person that they used to walk to in the shop.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so
Bro.
it's crazy how that happened, but it happened. So it's crazy, it's like divine intervention. But that's how they met, and then that's how we ended up in Canada. And then I was born in Canada, so we grew up with like this
Hold on, hold on.
Hindu.
You got your green card. You got your
Fijian.
citizenship.
Yeah, I'm dual citizen. So
Hey,
yeah.
He's
But-
real
hey,
good.
man.
So I grew up. So I grew
You got to go home.
No, so I grew up with like this really mixed culture where it's like Fijian, like Pacific Islander, like Polynesian mixed with like Fijian mixed with Indian, like Hindustani type, like North Indian type, which is different from all because India is really different, right? So the North Indian belief is different from all the South Indian belief, and then I grew up with like this Punjabi side, like the Sikh side. So like if I were to ever show you any of my childhood videos, like my baby videos, there would be like Sikh music playing in the background.
Mm.
Because all my dad's side of the family are Sikh. And I grew up there, right, as a child. And then coming here on my mom's side, it was more adapting to that. But now as I'm growing older, I kind of just don't talk to anybody on my mom's side at all anymore. And I'm kind of just like going back to my roots, because I don't know, as you grow older, you just kind of just want to go back home. It's like this feeling of, I don't know, just going back home. I just want to correct some shit.
So is all your
I
family
can't afford to
out
go
here?
back home because Oakland has priced my ass out.
Yeah.
So has Anita. So I'm a Southerner now. Boy, I live in the South.
Yeah,
Like LA is not the place for me. I'm too slow now, yo.
Yeah.
I ain't quick on the draw.
I would never leave. Honestly, I would never leave California, because like I have California tatted on my forearm. California is my home. Like even though I was born in
LA?
Canada, yeah, I got California tatted on me. California is my home.
Yeah.
I love California. I
I'm
love
from LA.
California, heart and soul. Like
I
this
do
is my
too.
this is my home. I'm never leaving California. There's not an inch in me that will ever leave this place, no matter how bad it
So
gets.
is only your immediate family out here, or you have cousins, or?
I got cousins, I got grandpas, like all my mom's side of the family is here. All my dad's side of the family is still in Canada. There's
Okay.
literally no dad's side family here in America, like whatsoever.
So they're like is it like they're in the Vancouver side or
They're spread out. So they're like Vancouver, Toronto, like
Bro.
BC. They're like all over.
Bro.
Calgary, there's a lot in Calgary, but yeah.
Man, I'm glad you said that because we're gonna get into the crypto thing, but man, we need to know who you are. And the reason why I want to talk about this with you, Nerdy, is man, we go hard on the crypto so much. And when I see you, like, I just seen you yesterday, like you live in my backyard, I live in your backyard. But one thing that dawned on me was like, man, as much as I talk to you and we feel each other and we say what we say, bro, you just like me, you were gonna talk about your past.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't. It's because the reason why I don't really talk. The reason why
Let me butt in real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's the whole reason for this show that we call Crypto Therapy.
Yeah.
589. And it's for us to be able to talk about crypto, but it's also for us to be able to get to know each other and talk about things from our past, our future, and or the present, and where we think where we know we want to be in the future, right? So my bad.
No. Yeah, that's good. Well, the thing is that I grew up, like, I think Marvin and you guys would know too, like in California, there was like this thing. It was like the loudest person in the room is the stupidest person in the room, right? There's always been a thing around around streets or whatever you want to call it, but it's always been a known thing. So for me, growing up, I've learned a lot. I learned a lot more from random ass people than I have from my own family. Like, I've learned things from my own family, not that I haven't, like construction and how to build things and how to make things and all that stuff. But life lessons wise and how to act in society, I have learned a lot from just being outside and just being with random people, because
Mhm.
the people that I used to hang out with, and I will give them a shout out, is I don't want to say the name. So I used to kick it with these two older OGs, right? One of them was a blood and one of them was a Crip, like straight, like real OG Bloods and Crips, right? But we used to hang out together. We didn't hang out like together all the time. Like we were like best friends and everything. But like the blood homie used to come over and hang out with the Crip homie, and it was like, okay, cool. But at the same time, they were older gentlemen. They were mature people, right? But they would come and they would give us advice, and they would just say, hey, da 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 da, this and that, and then be like, okay, cool. And I learned so much about psychology, because that I didn't even realize that's what they were teaching me. They were teaching me psychology of how people work, how people's minds work, how to act, and what to do, how not to do, how to read people, this and that. And I learned a lot. I learned growing up. I've always wanted to keep this thing. It's like no matter how much money I make, I always wanted to keep myself humble, because I understand that just because someone looks like they don't have enough money doesn't mean they don't have some information that you don't know, right? Because everyone knows something. You can't know everything. If you knew everything, you'd be God, but you're not.
You'd be God.
You're not, right? So, and I think that comes with a lot with ego, and I learned that too from. I grew up with a lot of like narcissism. I had a few relationships that were very crazy, and I learned a lot about people and how people act, and learned about what's my fault and what's other people's fault. What am I responsible for? My actions, and how other people's actions are that I'm not responsible for, that I have nothing to do with. They did stuff, and they just did stuff, and that's just who they are, right? So it's like I learned how to not to be so sensitive, I guess, and not to just take everything so personal, and to just keep it moving, because I understood that like you can either be depressed living in a box, or you can be depressed living in a massive ass house. Like the choice is yours, but it's all about perspective at the end of the day. And when I was going through high school, back to the high school thing, I got kicked out. So I was going through so I went to Sear of Brown, I'll just say it. So I went to Sear of Brown Elementary, which is Eagles, and then I went to Ustack Elementary, which is like Kodiak Bears. And then from Ustack I went to Bayer High School, and Bayer High School is like Patriots. And then now you're going into like football team territory, where it's like high school competitive.
Patriots,
and we were like one of the good teams too. And then I got kicked out because I had a smart mouth, and the teacher said something, and I responded in a way I shouldn't have, and I got kicked out for it. And but the funny part is that when I got kicked out, I went to this other school. It's like alternative high school. It's called Elliott Alternative. And when I went there was a program called the Running Start program. Now the Running Start program so I was a junior at this time. So the Running Start program allows you to earn college credits, units, while attending high school. And the cool part is that you don't go to school at the alternative high school. You go to school at the Modesto Junior College. So all through junior and senior year, I was not only in high school, but I was earning college credits, college units.
The man, they was like, "Yo, you better do dual enrollment, bro. You got too much time on your hands." They was like, "You got too much time on your hands. You better do dual enrollment, bro."
Man, it was cool though.
I want you to talk about this dual enrollment classes.
Yeah, start program though. You know what I mean? Like that's a high school head start program, and more young adults that have that type of time on their hands. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's a lot of us that sit in those classrooms back then that the teachers really couldn't teach us shit, right? Because the information that they was given was boring. I learned that in the 9th grade. You can't teach me how to add 2 + 3 again, right? 5 times 5. I know what the fuck that is, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
At the same time, you get bored, right? So you need to be able to be advanced to a higher level of learning. Some of us need that in the 10th or 11th grade, right? But we don't get that. So my bad. Go ahead.
No, that's 100% correct. Because my question was, why am I learning 6th grade stuff in 9th grade? As a freshman, why am I learning the same stuff I already learned? It makes no sense.
Same shit.
Right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, Fuma.
man, that's how jacked up the education system is.
Mm-hmm.
How can I say this? I'm gonna just keep it funky. The way the education system is set up is, man, you keep repeating the same stuff from first to third, from third to sixth, it's the same crap. Then you get to high school, it's more advanced, same crap, right?
Same shit.
At the high school level, man, it's like, okay, like I'm not using trigonometry right now and do what I do.
What the fuck
when
I
I
do
was
with it?
at airplanes in college, I was not using trigonometry, man. It was just a process.
Yeah.
Around the 9th and 10th grade, they should be teaching you a trade, and a trade does not only mean you got the hammer and the anvil and the AC. Flying an airplane is a trade. You don't need a college degree to fly an airplane. You don't need
When I write this young lady a letter and ask her, can I get a dance tonight at the little dance party? She don't want to see a trigonometry a problem inside the letter. You feel what I'm saying? That's what my brain was back then. Like, this ain't working for me. You know what I mean? Like,
now here's the bomb part. You don't need trigonometry to buy crypto.
Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, man.
Stop it. Let me ask you something. Go ahead, bro.
But you know, one thing that was crazy though is that in that class that I was taking at that college, that my teacher, my instructor, was a stockhead. So instead of teaching us about curriculums, he would teach us about stocks.
Ooh, shit.
Which is way more valuable to me. Yeah, so it just turned out like my life has been a movie. To be honest, my life has been a movie because like I'm gonna go back a little bit to my childhood. It's like growing up during this whole time in my personal life, I was with my uncle. My uncle was a DJ, so it was me and my little cousin, which was like my little cousin, my best friend at this time, right? So it was like me. It was on my so it was my mom's little brother. That's my uncle, and then he had a DJ business, so people wouldn't like during high school, like at school, people would just think I was a normal person, but away from high school, we're throwing massive ass events, like setting up like speaker equipment and live setting equipment for like massive ass concerts for all these Sikh singers, for all these like massive Punjabi singers and everything, like in Yuba City and all over Bay Area and everything. And we would have massive equipment, or like 64 channel mixers, big old speakers, amps, and everything, rolling it out, setting it up, putting the tape down, making sure everything works, all that stuff. And we would meet all these crazy people. And like my life was literally like a movie, bro. It was wild. It was so wild.
It's like
I worked a lot.
You're starving, and when you go back to school or something, everybody looking at you like you're a normal dude. You just gotta
yeah. So I love being around music. Like I love being around super loud music. Like to me, it's soothing. Because I just been around, like I grew up around it, and yeah, it was just crazy, man. And like you meet all these people, and you get to see all these VIP stuff, and you get to see venues before the venue opens, and you get to see how massive things really are, and how things are set up, and how to do and how to set up venues for like millions of people, and all this stuff. Like it takes a lot, but once you get the hang of it, it's like a cookie cutter setup. You know exactly what you need and what equipment you need and how to set everything up. But yeah, it was really informative. And then my other uncle, which is my mom's younger. So my mom has two younger sisters. It was a first younger sister. Her husband they lived in East Palo Alto. That's the house we moved into when we moved from from Calgary. We moved to their house, and he owned a lot of apartments. So on my other spare time, my cousins would pick me up. I would go with my uncle, and we would go renovate these apartments. We would go scrape the paint off the wall with the brush, right, like the old school way. Paint the apartment, fix the toilets, fix the sink, fix the stove, and build a fence and all this other stuff. And it's like I was doing productive stuff all my time. And then besides that, I was in the cars because my grandpa owned a smoke shop, right? And then I would just mess around with cars with him, and I was using the cars. So like my whole life I've been around all these different kind of businesses and hustles and all these different entrepreneurs, and I was watching people make bank, bro. Like watching people make a good ton of money, just like doing what they love. And
I come from that shit too.
Yeah, man. Like, after during high school, I was dating this girl, and we were together for like 6 years. But we joined this vitamin company together called USANA Health Sciences, and they were it was like a bunch of like Asian people, and we had this conference in San Jose. So we all put our money, me and my girl, we put our money together. And sometimes she'll borrow money from her dad. I have money. I'll try to get some money from my parents. My parents, of course, said no. So I would try to do a little hustle, get some money real quick, put some money together. Then we'd put our money together, go to get for gas, and we hitch a ride, go to San Jose, go to this conference, right? And during this whole conference, I feel broke. Like I feel like shit because one, I don't have money. Two, I'm going with a female that's supposed to be is my girl, but I'm basically using her money to travel, right? Like I feel like a piece of shit, right? But at the same time, I'm like, opportunity. Like I need this information. Like there's sacrifices.
Hey, I got it. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. You're gonna take us to get these vitamins, and I'm gonna lay it down. You paid for it.
Yeah,
you didn't know you paid for it.
We're
like
going
my
for
whole
vitamin
life.
D, but I'm gonna give you some vitamin D.
Yeah, you paid for it. That shit was free.
but like my whole life, I've been like in this hood type mindset of like, if I can find an opportunity, bro, I'm taking it. Like, I'm finding some way to make shit work. Like I make it happen, and we're making it happen. We're going there, and we're gonna figure this out. And I met this guy there. He was a millionaire. His name was Mr. Din. I never forget him. Mr. Din, beautiful man. He was an Asian guy, and he was from China too. Beautiful, beautiful man. Had a beautiful wife. She was gorgeous too, and she was really nice to me too. And there's a lot of people going up to him and asking for signatures. And I said, when I went up to him, I just bought a book. I bought a book from Target. My mom bought me this book. It was like $20, leather back, notebook. Take notes in it because I wanted to fit in whatever. Because you say fake it till you make it. As long as you fit the whatever the image, then so be it. No one really knows how much money you got. So now I went to him. It was my turn to get a signature. I didn't get a signature. I don't want a signature. Like you're just a normal person to me. One thing about me is I don't idolize people. I never idolize another man. I never idolize another woman.
Bro.
I never idolize people. I don't.
Exactly.
The only thing,
because I don't idolize their ass. They act like I should know who they.
I don't idolize people. The only person and the only being that I idolize is God. That's it. I don't idolize anybody else. The person who I strive to be like is like that. Anything else, no, thank you. Right? Because everyone else is flawed. I'm good.
Yeah, man. So hold on. You went and spoke to the dude.
Yeah, so I spoke to this dude, and then I was asking him a question, and then my question was not how you got there. What was the mindset? What was the flip of the switch? What was your perspective that allowed you to get to the point that you got to? And then he broke it down to me, and he was like 90% planning, 10% work. If you don't have a plan, what the fuck are you doing? Like you have to have.
You don't have a plan. You ain't got a plan, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, you have to put the time in and the research. You have to figure out a problem. Secondly, you have to figure out who else is figuring out that problem. Third is you have to figure out how is your solution different from their solutions, right? And then fourth, you have to figure out how do you market it better than they're marketing it. And once you figure out these, fifth is you put in the work and you just go to work and figure out partnerships and just do it. But
that's called sacrifice.
Yeah, but the thing
Nerdy
is
dropping bombs for you idiots out here.
But the thing is that if you don't have a plan and you're just like it's cool like that, and that was the thing I learned at XRP Las Vegas. Is that's when I don't want to knock anybody or say anything about anyone's project or anything, but that was one thing that because of my upbringing, I was going there with these bulletin points, evaluating other people's things, and I'm using that as a critique. Was so you can have a really cool idea, right? Like for example, there's a lot of apps that are trying to either create another wallet, or there's apps that are trying to make send some money to money from A to B or B to C, whatever you're trying to do, right? Cool. There's a lot of other apps that do the same thing, right? So you're creating this congestion of applications. That the same thing with AI is that a lot of these AI companies, 2 or 3 years from now, are not going to exist. Just like we see with the social media fab, MySpace lost, Facebook won, right? And that's just, it is what it is. So
let's talk about Vegas, bro.
Yeah.
I've known you for about, I got to ask this other question before we even talk about Vegas. Nerdy, where the hell did you come from? Hold on, where the hell did Nerdy come from? Because I woke up one day and you was on a bullish hour. We were just rapping.
Oh man.
What the hell? Hey, where'd you come from, bro? Like
I was off some fluke stuff, man. So
like, bro, I woke up, you was on the bullet shower. I'm like, this nerdy. Okay, we gonna rock.
Yeah.
Right?
So my parents got divorced during high school. So what happened is that a life changing moment of mine was that the girl that I was with left me. I found out, I don't know if she cheated on me, whatever, but she did cheat on me at one point. But she left me. So it was one that it was dealing with puppy love and dealing with lust and dealing with the love, and then trying to deal with that emotionally. And then 2, my parents got divorced, so I had to deal with that situation. And then 3, my aunt, the house that we moved to, she passed away, and she was like a mother to me. Like, she was more of a mother. Like, I don't want to say that, but she gave me really good motherly advice. Like, I was really close to her. Okay,
that's like my aunt Chris. That's like
yeah.
my aunt.
And like, I saw her in the same manner. I can say that much, right? And she always told me this one thing was like, your brain is like a sponge. Like, whatever you soak into it is important, because you also don't want to over saturate your sponge, because it comes too big, too heavy, And then my grandpa always told me is if you walk with your head too high, you're gonna step in shit. So the lessons that I learned was, you can be an educated person, but don't be an asshole. Like,
Right.
you can remain humble and still be educated, right? So, and then these people passed away. The people that I admire passed away, because my childhood upbringing was like, I was like the star child of my mom's side of the family, where people like, oh, like at one point, like one of my grandparents wanted to adopt me because they were just like this adorable thing, like this adorable person, and everyone liked that I was well mannered. And the reason why I was well mannered is because my dad was always working. So because my dad was always working and went to so many family events, I had to be that man figure. So it's like,
Nerdy, I love you, but you evaded my fucking question, bro.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Where did you pop up from, bro?
Going back to that question. Sorry. Go back. I was watching, so it was a fluke. So during,
hold on, I gotta say this real quick.
So,
bro, y'all watching out there, this is how me and nerdy interact.
Yeah. This is
each other, but this is just how we interact.
I go around. Okay. So during that time of the divorce, I had computers, and then during that time, I didn't have a computer at all whatsoever. So there was like a large chunk of my life, which is during the whole point of Bitcoin popping, which is I regret that point. But during this whole segment of my life, was a big segment, I had no internet. And then when we moved here to Roseville, because my mom was working for Sutter Health, and they gave her a transfer here to Roseville. So we moved here to Roseville, and then I was living in Roseville for a little bit. And then that time I got a job at Costco. So I was working at Costco, and I was working I was working this job called Parallax, which was like a robotic company. I was like assembling packaging robotics, like DIY kits and all that stuff, right? Yeah. So I was doing all that, so I was able to generate some income. So I was able to purchase internet. So I had internet again, and then I had to get a computer from scratch because my computer was so old and outdated now, and then I had to collect for that. Now I went on Facebook Marketplace and I got this laptop, and then I was selling and buying and selling MacBooks for a little bit, and then I got back into the internet hype when we moved from Roseville, came to Citrus Heights, which is, I've only been here for maybe like 6 years now.
Okay.
That's when I got into crypto really big, and I started watching all these shows. And I used to watch Bags all the time, and I used to watch a bunch of other people, but Bags was one I really liked. I vibe with.
I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Yo, in the year 2020, 2021, I had to take a job away from my home.
Yeah.
Bags used to get me through the fucking day.
Yeah, man. That stuff.
Bro,
hell yeah, bro.
Through the day, like I would physically get pissed if he ain't cut a show.
Yeah, but you know how I really started. I was really dedicated watching. Nothing against Bags or nothing, but Shiz. I was really on Shiz. Like, Shiz was my guy, bro. I used to watch Shiz like religiously.
Don't wait till it happens.
This shit scared me, dog. He scared me in the Bionic.
Yeah, I used to watch Shiz like. Yeah, Shiz, James Rule, DAI, Kevin Cage. I used to watch these people religiously. Bro.
Yeah, Kevin Cage.
Yeah, Kevin Cage is a genius. James Rule, a tokenizer. I used to watch him too. There was another guy too, but I learned a lot from these people. But watching all this crypto stuff, the Bag said that he was doing like the show, and he said boardroom or whatever, and then I got the link. I got a recommendation on YouTube because YouTube recommends stuff when you go into other channels or whatever, and it popped up the show, and I clicked on it, and I saw Zerker and Buster and everybody, and I don't know if Fuma wasn't there then. It was Rain. Rain was on the show, and I think
Rain was on Bullet Shower or Boardroom.
Rain was on one of them. I think Zeno was on them too. Zeno was on one of the shows too, and then I joined one time. And they were just talking. I was like, man, this is my stuff. I vibe with this. This is my stuff. And I hopped on one time, and then I was correcting something because during that time, before I hopped on the show, I was going down my rabbit hole moment where I was just reading through military documents, finding about what the plan was, what the future was, and I'm like, oh damn, like this is crazy. So I was a conspiracy theorist or whatever way before I got into crypto, like way before. So when I heard a boardroom or a bullish hour, whatever show they were on, they were talking, I'm like, damn, this is up my field. So I came in with that lens, not with the crypto lens, and then we started exchanging information, and then they're like, come on the show, blah blah blah. When I got from more familiar with them, I think it was after a year or two, and then Bag was like, hey, do you want to hop on the show? After I started going on to the boardroom, and they're like, I was like, yeah, sure, like, hell yeah, thanks. And then yeah, and that's how I got in, and I met you probably maybe like a year after I started getting into all of this stuff. And then I met you not too long, not even not even that long after I got into everything, and we've been homies ever since because we vibe. Because my thing is that when I was watching, because I come from a technical background, I was watching all these cryptos things. And I used to watch Charlie Ward too. I was on the conspiracy side. I used to watch Charlie Ward and Nino and all these other people. And I used to try to figure out like, what the hell is what are these people talking about? Because from a technical standpoint, it's all gibberish. It's 110% all gibberish, right? Because literally no one knows what they're saying. And then I started looking into myself and like figuring out what is this? What is actually going on? I'm like, oh, okay, it's APIs. Primitives. Oh, well, primitives is a game changer. Okay, because it's application on a protocol level, not on application level. Okay, cool. I understand why this is a big thing. And then I started understanding from that point of view, not from of like, oh, it's gonna take over the world point of view. Like, okay, cool, but how? How though?
Craziness, bro.
What?
Me and you will get on these shows and we start talking tech. Bro, I work with a lot of technical people who aren't into crypto because they think it's fake. Even the software people. They're like, oh, I'm like, but the head of the guy, me and the guy, I'm not gonna call his name out.
Yeah.
We talk every day because me and him made a business pact. Yo, if me and you don't interact right, this whole business sinks and we all got trouble.
Yeah.
So the one dude who runs them all, he sells GPU cards and he's in crypto a little bit, but
yeah,
you'd be surprised. And man, I'm at a major company doing this stuff, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know a quarter, not even a fifth of what you know.
Which is wild, right?
And it's like, so I'm there talking to people about crypto, but I got no one to really hit it with. I got to call Marvin, Nina, you. I got to call these people, man. But it's like, man, and I'm like, everybody thinks that these corporations are ahead.
No, they're not.
The only part they're ahead on is the banks. The banks are business.
Yeah, and financial side.
Financial run. So
the information they don't have because they don't spend the time that we spend.
But when we start talking about the money side, nerdy, that's who's gonna make these businesses change.
And another thing that we vibe on is that I worked at a hospital, so I did housekeeping. So I was was it environmental services, so EVS. I was a housekeeper for the ER.
You did everything right. He me, bro. I did so many crazy.
I was housekeeper for the ER. Yeah, I worked network administrator, so I understand the HR's point. But my whole point of that saying that is, and I worked factory jobs and all that stuff. But the whole point of that is that when people say things, they don't really understand that it doesn't work like that. Like when a company has a standard to meet, they'll meet it at the deadline. Like they'll take their sweet dime getting there. So when I was trying to understand what people were talking about, I was like, okay, well, what standard are these companies living up to? They're just not gonna just do things just because they just want to just at the kindness of the heart make things cheaper, right? Like there's a reason why things happen. And then I started going into ISO is a standard, yeah, but it's like, what is Swift looking? Oh, CDR plus, high value payments plus. Oh, Basel this. Oh, liquidity standards. Oh, liquidity standards happening because of '08. Why did '08 happen? Oh, there was over leverage. Blah blah blah. So then I started going into the business side of how does this actually work? What actually runs the world? Oh, debt. Oh, debt is actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So it's like, all these things I didn't learn in school, and all these things that I wasn't taught as a child or anything. I'm learning. I had to learn all growing up. Like I learned this from 2020. So for the last 5 years, I just learned. Like I just learned this. Like I literally just learned this stuff. But it's like, it's wild to know that if like the problem is that what I'm trying to solve with a lot of my things is that no one really cares about the little guy at all whatsoever when it comes to education, opportunity, anything like that. What blockchain provides,
I'll tell you why.
What's up?
People are no longer looked at as individuals or something people really want to invest in to make them grow.
You're a number.
You are a number.
Not even a number, dog. You're a
statistic
at this point.
Yeah.
Breathe
Guys,
and consume.
Can I tell you we are coming up on the hour and we have to cut it?
All right,
So
we're gonna do
part
this.
2.
You got to cut it. No,
You got it, good.
Hey, 30,
Guys.
this is how we do it. This is how we do it. At the hour, and the reason why we do it at the hour because my PR people or whatever they are in the background, they supposed to be cutting these videos and put them on TikTok, but they ain't. We have to deal with them soon. But anyway, so what we do is we literally will take this minute.
We gonna cut their XRP checks. You know what I'm saying? What the hell we gonna do? We gonna downplay.
My payment on a couple of these people I got around me. They ain't my kids, but
That's what I'm saying.
and then we'll come back for a part 2. We take a 15-minute smoke break.
Hell
Then
yeah.
you turn to out half an hour to an hour smoke break, and then we come back and do it.
Oh my God!
Let's do it.
You know who's gonna do this, Nina?
All right,
Hey, man, this shit been
guys.
dope, man. Salute, man.
This is my dog
Appreciate
on
you,
there.
nerd,
You know I'm
man.
gonna get down with him. You know, like
Thank you guys for tuning in.
you
Subscribe.
know what? I'm about to do it to you
comment.
right now. All right, bye.
I know you little motherfucker.